WEZE Boston.
Race is not where the line is drawn. It's God's side and the other side. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is. Hey, everybody get exposed. Pray for all my foes, but it's the nail roll. Hey, these rappers gon' sell they soul. I don't care if they hate me. This the life I chose. Jay-Z mocking Christ with his new movie. One day he gon' pay. You won't catch me partying with Diddy. I ain't TD Jakes.
Am I on the mic? You know,
That's a little better.
We didn't do a sound check before we did this. We were just shouting at each
Too
other.
busy yapping.
We were doing this. We were just yapping at each other about the different things we're going to talk about. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for being here. It is a Saturday morning, a beautiful Saturday morning, 9 a.m. in Boston, New York Eastern Standard Time. No, New York Eastern Daylight Savings Time. It is May 10th, 2025 year of our Lord Jesus Christ. We are here on the Amazing Grace Sports Network. I am Clay. That is Kevin back there.
Yes, good morning, everybody.
Kevin on the wheels of steel and whatever they used to call it back then. You don't remember that, Kevin?
No, I was going to say, never been referred to that before.
You've never been called that before. Okay, let's get to prayer before I mess anything else up here. We are continuing along, okay, in the prayers for spiritual victory. We are in chapter 4, the authority of Christ, and we are in the taking on the shield of faith section of that. So let's go. Father, I take up the shield of faith to combat the lies the enemy throws at me. Lies that I am powerless, lies that I am fearful, lies that I am weak, defeated, and so much more. When in truth, I am able to overcome any scheme of the devil when I place myself under the authority of Jesus Christ. He will fight and win my battles for me. So I let go of my ways, Lord Father God, and I look to Jesus to save me. Amen. That's it. Nice, quick one. I like that, Kevin.
Very quick. Well, we got a lot to talk about, so a lot to get to.
All right. Well, you know, we're going to get right to it. We're going to get right to today in history. Today in history. You know, before I go on today in history, I heard this joke today by the esteemed friend, Hassan.
Oh, sure.
Oh, yeah.
Who we've had on the show here before.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen. It's a baseball joke. And these two guys are friends. They're like really, really good friends. And they play baseball all the time. And they love baseball. So when they couldn't play anymore, they started watching baseball on television every day. And so they're wondering if they die, you know, is there baseball in heaven? So they make a deal with one another. They say the first one who dies has to come back and tell the other guy if it's good news or bad news. So they made the pact. And then one of them died. And one of the guys, the guy who's remaining, the guy who's still alive, is at Mass. He's at Mass praying for his friend. And all of a sudden, the vision of his friend shows up. And his friend says, hey, listen, buddy, I got good news and bad news. He goes, okay, what's the good news? He says, there's baseball in heaven. He said, okay, well, what's the bad news? He says, you're pitching next Thursday. Yeah. You know what? I just better keep my day job, right?
I think so.
All right. Well, I tried.
Thank you.
Because
do we have a
what's that rim shot?
Yeah.
Drum roll. Today in history, in 1870, Jem Mace defended his English heavyweight crown against American Joe Coburn. The match lasted 1 hour and 17 minutes, and neither was struck by a punch. Strange, right? Yeah, I was perplexed, confused. So you know what I did? What I always do. I did more research, and I found that the match was called due to a torrential rainstorm. So they didn't throw a punch because they actually never fought. So here we go. What is Joe Coburn's nickname? And that's the question. You're going to win mugs. You win mug, a T-shirt, posters, chapstick, lip gloss. Whatever we have in the baseball or basketball cards, whatever we have in the vault, you'll get. Okay. What was Joe Coburn's nickname? Okay. Kevin, you got the next one, I think.
You never sent me the outline, so I don't
I
know what the
didn't?
questions were. So that's Clay's not having a. Oh well.
Well, let's go.
We'll give
with
him a
it.
mulligan on that one.
Give me a mulligan. Give me a Joe Coburn.
So you go ahead.
Okay, the second one. Let's see what we can get for the second one. This thing is loading here. Okay, the second today in history. In 1941, the 66th. Yes, the 66th Preakness, which will be run today, was run, and it was won by Eddie Arcaro on Whirlaway. Whirlaway. It's the second leg of a successful Triple Crown that Whirlaway would win that year. My question is, or our question is for the Amazing Great Sports Network is, how tall was Eddie Arcaro? How tall was he? Okay, that's going to be a hard one. And the last one, in 1970, May 10th, 1970, Stanley Cup final, Boston Garden. Bobby Orr scores a famous overtime winner as Boston beats the St. Louis Blues 4-3 for a 4-0 series sweep. The Bruins win their first title since 1941. And our question here at the Amazing Great Sports Network is, how many Stanley Cups have the Bruins won since that 1970 Stanley Cup? How many cups have they won since then? That's it, ladies and gentlemen. That's what we got for you today in history. And right now, I am going to email Kevin the outline.
And that question should have two categories. One should be how many have they won and how many should they have won. And I think the number of how many they should have won would certainly exceed the number that they had won.
Because they've dropped the ball on how many they should have won and how many they've won. And we go back to that. What was it, 2 or 3 years ago with the President's Cup?
Not only that, but just the record-setting year that they had just 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And they won the President's Trophy as well a few other times and weren't able to get past the second round.
Dropping the ball.
And, of course, that Stanley Cup loss at home against St. Louis still stings. But, oh, well.
Oh, well. We're gonna dive into a topic very quickly. I sent you the email if you want to check.
Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
It has to do with Bill Belichick.
Oh, yes, our favorite topic.
Bill Belichick and his girlfriend making news, waves, just doing things.
That's one way of putting it.
It was said that she was banned from the facilities and things of that sort, but it turned out not to be true. What is your take on this, Kevin? Just a quick one.
Well, I don't have much to say other than the fact that as I told you off air, if I'm Bill Belichick's sons and daughter, and you mentioned the sons are with him at UNC, I sit him down and I just look at him and say, Dad, what are you doing? What are you doing? Like, seriously, is this girl? I won't even say woman because she's still, in my opinion, a girl.
She's 24.
I'm older than her.
She's 24.
I'm older than her, and just sitting down and say, does this girl really make you happy? Is this really what you want in life?
What is happiness?
And I don't think looking at Bill Belichick, knowing who Bill Belichick is, of course we don't know him personally, but we've been following him for years, and what you see on camera is probably what you see off camera most of the time as well. But we could be wrong. I think nothing makes him happy except winning and coaching football, and he's doing that at UNC. Now this is a total distraction. And Bill Belichick, for years as head coach of the New England Patriots, never let cameras in, Hard Knocks, documentary, this, that, distraction, this, distraction. Anytime there was a distraction with a coach, with a player, it was deemed done. Whether you can't get rid of the distraction, well, you're gone. Now Bill Belichick is becoming what he sought out to end or eliminate.
He's
as a time with the coach.
Distraction of them all.
Now he is becoming a big distraction, and the biggest distraction is his girlfriend here, who has gained a sort of notoriety because of her relationship with Bill Belichick. Now, the report stated that Jordan Hudson was banned from all facilities at the University of North Carolina, and that report was picked up by several outlets. And UNC had to come out and issue a statement and said, While Jordan Hudson is not an employee of the University of North Carolina or Carolina Athletics, she is welcome to the Carolina football facilities. Jordan will continue to manage all activities related to Coach Belichick's personal brand outside of his responsibilities for Carolina football and the university.
Yes.
Sources later told ESPN that because Belichick is such a high-profile coach, UNC has hired a public relations person to deal with issues related to him. That's in addition to the PR person who handles the team.
Interesting. So she won't be running the whole PR thing alone. She's going to have help.
She is damaging and diminishing Bill Belichick's legacy. She is the worst thing that ever could have happened to him.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, there's more. She's also running for Miss Maine. She's going to run for Miss Maine this year. And guess who's backing her? Bill Belichick. And with that, I think we should just, let it go because this is the subject.
But what does it say, Clay, to you that the report came out and stated that she was banned? Do you think it was a leak somehow, someone trying to stir up some controversy? Maybe she actually was banned and then they had to backtrack. What does this say? Do you think there's a bigger story here?
Well, it doesn't matter to me if it's a bigger story or not because it's causing distraction and it's causing waves and ripple effects that are going to affect the UNC team. That's really the big story here. What's happening on that campus, how it's affecting these young kids and how they're going to go about their job when all of this controversy is surrounding Bill Belichick and Jordan, who he met when she was 20.
Mm.
So with that, I'm getting off the subject. I'm just going to let it go because it has too many bad avenues to go down.
It's a real shame.
It's
a real shame. And let's hope Bill will come to his senses.
Yes, Bill. Wake up. Wake up, Bill. Wake up and smell the coffee. She was 20 years old. She's only 24 now.
And also true the fact that we talked about this last week and off air as well, and this will be the final point. You're a leader of college-age kids.
Ugh.
This is not the example to be setting.
No. It's totally
not the
immoral.
example to be setting.
Totally immoral, Bill, in so many ways. This is, not just just so many ways.
But as he goes further and further down that path, it's going to be harder for him to come out.
It's going to get worse if he puts I'm just stepping away from this subject.
All right, moving on.
Moving on.
Moving on to happier thoughts, I guess.
Yeah.
Is there anything really happy going on in the sports world here in Boston the last couple of days here?
Well, there is, but first we're going to go to something that really makes me happy. That's Karma Dawn Yoga. Karma Dawn Yoga really makes me happy. I'm so happy when I make it to yoga and Karma Dawn Yoga. It's one of the happy things in life that I go to. Ladies and gentlemen, how would you like to feel better, stand straighter, and enjoy daily activities without pain? Then look no further than Karma Dawn Yoga. As one of the more accomplished yoga instructors in the New England area, Karma embraces many different styles of yoga, including vinyasa, slow flow, yin, and restorative in order to tap into your pranic energy and create a balanced mix of healing, stretch, and strength. Find her and her very affordable classes online at karmadawnyoga.com. That's karma, like good karma, bad karma, dawn, like the morning dawn, yoga.com. Hey, are you feeling a little achy or sore from the cold weather? Then take a visit to Dylan's Russian Steam Bath. At Dylan's Dry Sauna or Wet Steam Room, you can de-escalate, de-stress, and detox your body and mind. A hot place of massage or a variety of oil massages are available. You will enjoy the relaxed atmosphere that features a nutritious snack bar, large screen televisions, and comfortable lounge chairs to cool off in during your visit. They have two convenient locations, one in Chelsea and the other in Quincy. Find them online at Dylan's Russian Steam Bath or call 617-549-3484 for more information. To enjoy your best health, visit Dylan's Russian Steam Bath, where heat, steam, and water have a therapeutic effect. Not bad, huh? Therapeutic effect.
I want to thank our great sponsors here of the show, Karma and Dillon's and Oyama Investments, who we'll hear from in a little bit. And these are groups that keep us on the air, Clay.
Yes.
Each and every weekend right here.
So we can talk about, Belichick and Hudson.
Anyway, moving on. Well, we'll talk about the first problem that's encompassing the Boston sports world this past week. And now the headline reads, Devers says no. What does he say no to? Well, he says no to a lot of things. No to playing full-time DH, which, of course, he has been. And we'll see how long that
He
lasts.
said he didn't want to play DH.
And now he says no to playing first base, something we talked about here on the show and came out very forcefully.
Yeah.
Very forcefully, Rafael Devers did this past week, and saying, basically putting a lot on Craig Breslow, saying, what does he know?
Yeah.
Why is there so much, focus on me playing first base?
He's only the general manager. He's
only general manager
he's
of the
only
team.
the general manager. They asked him, about the situation. I think Devers said, I talked to some guy.
Yeah, just some staff member.
Some staff member.
Yeah,
not the general manager, not the guy who runs the team, just some guy. What does he know?
Well, I have plenty to say, and I know you do as well, Clay. But before we do that, we want to talk to Wayne, who was calling in. We got a lot to talk about the Devers stuff, so we'll get to that. But first want to talk to Wayne who's on the line. Wayne, good morning. Welcome on in.
Kevin, Clay, good morning.
Wayne,
we are
Wayne.
on to Clemson. We are on to Clemson.
We're on to Clemson, right? Sounds like
I
Cincinnati.
think North Carolina got what they deserve, man. They made a pact with the devil with this guy, man.
Well, he's the highest paid state employee in the state of North Carolina, too, Wayne. So,
and can you imagine what the other players that he cut and manhandled and bamboozled out of contracts are going through right now?
I know. It's just so many bad spots that this guy, has placed himself in with this situation. Gosh.
And and the $9 million portfolio in real estate holding that there are just so many moving parts to this equation with this gentleman.
She's just killing it. She's killing it. She came in with nothing, and now she's worth $9 million, in real estate, in and around New York. Or is it
Dorchester,
around,
Boston area.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
Oh man. But anyway, I know my Celtics are backs against the wall today. We have to do it today, and I like for Tatum to at least give me a Tim Duncan-like performance today if he cannot be Tatum. But we need our backs against the wall. We need to come through big today.
Yeah.
Well, they do, Wayne, and they need to stop taking so many three-pointers because it's clearly not working. And I hope whatever offensive scheme Joe Mazzulla has drawn up for this game is less of a three-point tries, because go ahead.
Did you see Donovan Mitchell last night?
Oh my gosh!
He was just driving to the hoop and getting an and one, and that's what we have to play like today, man. They have to just assault the painted area and just attack the basket.
Do you mean Donovan 43 points, Mitchell? 43 points, Mitchell.
Yeah.
on 4 for 29, 14 for 29, plus 35. Donovan, I'm not. Listen, we're not losing this one. I don't care where it's at. You can play this one on Mount Olympus. We're not losing this one, Mitchell. Yeah, that guy.
So that's what we have to do today, man. But anyway, gentlemen, have a great day, and we're on to Clemson.
We're on to Clemson.
What is this on to Clemson? What sport are you talking about, Wayne? Here.
Well, remember when Belichick had a losing and he was
I see.
On to Cincinnati, and they kept Cincinnati.
We're on to Cincinnati.
Now he's on to Clemson. Okay, I get it. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. I want to see what kind of Belichick we get in the presser when he's losing. Does he handle him like he handled us here in New England, or is he kind of softer, gentler? Now that he get a new love interest, and
listen,
do we get another onto?
It's going to get ugly because he doesn't have Tom Brady to cover him up anymore.
Well, it's going to have to, deal with some of these local reporters, the Fayetteville Times and the Raleigh Gazette or whatever the papers are down there. So it'll be a lot different than the Herald and the Globe and all the other networks and outlets that cover the Patriots, as he has dealt with for so many years. So it's going to be very interesting. And we talked about this before, Clay, and looking at the ACC is in a pretty strong position. And there are better teams right now on paper, and who I think will be better this year than UNC. Now, will they make a bowl? Maybe, but that's how far I'll go.
This is going to be a great season, guys. It's going to be great to cover this.
These newspapers may have to send in some out-of-town headers to get at him. And
they're going to. Believe me, this national news there in UNC. So there's going to be some out-of-town people.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, there's no doubt about
it. Believe me, it's going to get good. It's almost as good as watching the LeBron James drama. It's this gift that never keeps. Him and LeBron James. Maybe we should. I think they're in their own separate category of people who make waves when they don't have to. People who are just jerks when they don't have to be.
Well, on the one plus side, he's already brought a lot of positive because people are already talking. It's going to be a must watch that first game. So there's going to be a lot of interest in there and to see how he performs.
Yeah, well, we're going to find out very quickly. The time is coming up.
On to Clemson.
On to Clemson. All right. Thanks, Wayne.
Take care, guys.
See you, Wayne.
Have a great day. Take care, Kevin. Thank you.
Thanks. On to Clemson. There we go.
Clemson, baby.
Well, let's go talk about Rafael Devers a little bit more before we head to our commercial break, and we'll talk about the Celtics. But Clay, a couple thoughts to you, and then we'll turn to me.
Rafael Devers is the epitome of really the rest of the team, and it's the state of the team, and the attitude of the team, and the character of the team, which is called complacency. Complacency. That's right. You don't have to know the name of the guy you're talking to. He's the general manager, by the way, Rafael. Craig Breslow, who came to talk to you about playing first base, and you told him, off the rip, no, I'm not going to do it. You just told him that. No, you don't have to know his name. And you know what? You don't care. You didn't want to play. You didn't want to do the DH thing. They had to talk you into that. You don't want to do the first base thing. You've struck out 47 times. You are hitting. What's your average here? 245? Yeah, 253. With the most strikeouts, and actually, it's not this. It's the second most. You and Trevor Story, another example of complacency, have struck out 47 times already. And Trevor's hitting 245. You're hitting 253, and nobody feels the need to address any of these. Listen, you should have been sat down. You should have been sat down over a month ago. Period. I mean, no. Yeah, just sat down. Bring in the Japanese guy, the guy from the Japanese league. Bring him in, let him hit. I'm sure he's not going to strike out 47 freaking times.
Well, he's still hurt, but
okay, but play DH. Okay, you have to pay him anyway. Pay him to play DH. I'm sure he's going to hit 280, 300. Okay, and not strike out 47 times. Trevor Story striking out 47 times when we got Marcelo Mayer down there in AAA waiting to come up. Cedar Rafael hitting 220. When you have Robin Anthony down there, but nobody's worried because they're all complacent. Nobody has to worry about playing. They don't have to worry about their job for sure. They're going to get paid, but they don't even have to worry about playing. It doesn't matter what they did the day before, what they've done the whole week. They will be back out there the next day. You know why? Just because, you know what? They're complacent. And I mean, management is complacent in this and complicit. That's the problem with the Red Sox.
Well, here's a couple of things. First of all, the extension that the Red Sox signed Rafael Devers to was signed under Chaim Bloom and his front office. Craig Breslow didn't sign Rafael Devers to this massive extension. Now, had Craig Breslow been the general manager when Rafael Devers was coming up for an extension and this whole nonsense was occurring, I'm not sure Rafael Devers would be a Boston Red Sox right now. I'm not sure. And would that be a good thing? I hate to say it because Rafael, in his time here with the Red Sox, has contributed a great deal. Yes, certainly to the 2018 World Series winning team, to the 2021 team, and at times the Red Sox, the mediocrity that has encompassed his team now for the past 3 to 4 years. Rafael Devers has been the true leader offensively.
Right.
Offensively, out on the field. Now, this situation is very deeply, deeply disappointing, and it really goes to the core, I think, where the Red Sox are right now. And if you just read some of these quotes that Rafael Devers said, if you're not frustrated by it, then you're just not paying attention. When he says, I'm a ball player. But at the same time, they can't expect me to play every single position out there. First of all, Rafael, no one's asking you to do that. And then he said, in spring training, they talked to me and basically told me to put away my glove, that I wasn't going to play any other position but DH. So right now, I just feel like it's not an appropriate decision by them to ask me to play another position. It was the GM that I spoke with. I'm not sure what he has with me. He played ball, and I would like to think he knows that changing positions like that isn't easy. And here in the clubhouse, thankfully, the relationship that I have with my teammates is great. I don't understand some of the decisions that the GM makes. Next thing you know, someone in the outfield gets hurt, and they want me to play in the outfield. I think I know the kind of player I am, and yeah, that's just where I stand. Selfish? Not a leader?
Complacent.
Some of the words we would describe Rafael Devers right now.
Right. He says, no, there's no energy there. There's none. There's nothing about winning. There's no impetus to win. This isn't about winning. This is about, I don't want to play first base. How you like that? So and I know when I say complacent, I'm talking about the players, but I'm also talking about management, because to me, they have players right now to light a fire under these guys. And we can understand if you got nobody down there who can come up. But since you have guys, use your leverage. And the fact that they have a hammer and they won't use it because they have young guys that do want to play, and they can sit these bums down who don't want to play. I know they can't start paying them, but at least they can sit them down. It would be enough to light a fire under them, I think. But
it's just not going to happen. They're getting paid that much money, and they're here to contribute, Clay. I mean, you didn't sign Trevor Story with all this money, and I understand the stat lines. I get it, but they didn't pay him to sit on the bench. They just didn't. Same with Devers. They wouldn't have signed him to an extension knowing that these problems were going to arise, And he says that the relationship in the clubhouse is strong with his players. Well, reports are that some of the veteran players, unnamed, of course, are upset with Rafael, and one player even going far to say to stop talking to the press, and stop talking and just go out there and play.
Well, that can only
players
be
who have been
that can only be Alex Bregman, because he's the only other veteran out there.
Yeah,
I think. But
Trevor Story's been around
Story,
for, and then Aroldis Chapman and Liam Hendricks, and
probably Aroldis Chapman.
There have been several veteran additions to this Red Sox team. This situation, Clay, has gotten so tense and so bad that John Henry flew to Kansas City before the first game of the Red Sox-Royals series, which the Red Sox lost in 12 innings last night, walked off on. This got so bad that John Henry flew to Kansas City. Imagine that, John Henry going to Kansas City, Missouri.
Yeah, I can imagine it. And he had
sit down with Devers.
He had a nice warm bottle of milk and a blankie, and he sat down with Devers and tried to talk with him, tried to make him feel better.
And he said it was a good conversation, essentially, and we're moving on. But he's still not playing first base.
Still not playing first.
Still not playing first base.
Give me my pacifier now.
This prima donna attitude that Rafael Devers has is getting old.
It's the whole team.
Well, it is the whole team, Clay. And I want to say one other thing on the Red Sox, and we often point fingers at the front office, and rightly so. Especially last year, I think Breslow came in, and we give him a year, and he has, I think, did what I'm not going to say he's proven himself, because the Red Sox team right now sits 20-20, but I think he did what he said he was going to do and bring in pieces. The Crochet trade, the Bregman signing, other pieces to bolster your bullpen have worked out so far, and we hope that they will continue to work out and get this team to a position of finally winning more games than they are right now. But the Red Sox, ever since their trip to the American League Championship Series in 2021, were a team that overperformed, and really, I certainly didn't expect them to make it that far, and they were 2 games away from going to the World Series, and they couldn't get past Houston. That being said, 2022, I'll go back to 2019, 22, 23, and 24, all around just a few games under 500, at 500, 2 games over 500, 2.5 out of the wild card, 4 out of the wild card, division out of sight.
Mediocre.
This team defines the word mediocrity. If you go to the dictionary and look up the word mediocrity, you will find a picture
Of the
Red Sox in the past 3 to 4 years. And we often blame the front office. I think Chaim Bloom deserved a lot of blame. And I think ownership, it took a lot for them to get rid of him, and they made the right call, because if it was Chaim Bloom in this situation right now, I think the Red Sox would be in a worse place than we are right now. But a person who often does not get criticized enough, in my opinion,
Who might that be?
that is the guy who puts the lineup out each and every game here. And this is a guy that everyone says is a great manager, great clubhouse guy, and that's Alex Cora, who I don't believe is successfully leading this team to where the Red Sox should be. Now, Alex Cora has been with the Red Sox now for 6 years. In his first year with the team, obviously winning a World Series in 2018, and a tremendous, historic year for the Red Sox.
Impossible dream.
2019 was a great regress of a year. They stunk. 2020, well, it was the COVID year. Of course, he was fired during the sign-stealing incident with the Astros. Comes back, 2021, brings them to the American League Championship Series, and a lot of people didn't expect, and the Red Sox could have not made the playoffs. They had to play game 162 to make the playoffs, and they got in there. And then 22, 23, 24, and now 25. And it's early in 25. Only 40 games been played. But again, the Red Sox have been sitting in neutral mode for the past 4 years.
Yeah, in neutral.
At times it's been, one step forward, 2 steps back. And until they get out of that, whatever mentality you want to call it, I'm not sure where this Red Sox team is going to go. Because at times, Clay, this year in particular, it seems as though the Red Sox are ready and willing to do just that. They come out firing on all cylinders with the offense. They have great pitching performances, and they shut down whoever they play. Then at times they come out firing, have a lead, blow it, and then sort of throw their hands up and can't come back. And then they come out
just give up,
flat as can be, and look like one of the worst teams in the league.
I say they're all three of those. They're all three of them. Listen, something's got to be done. The attitude of the team has to change. We'll see what happens.
I want there to be more accountability on Alex Cora. He's the guy that is leading this clubhouse here. He's the guy that needs to get his guys in line. That's not the general manager's job. That is the job of the manager, who is with these guys more so than the general manager is in the clubhouse. And until the Red Sox start to really consider their long-term aspirations here and what they really want to do, is Alex Cora the best hope for the Red Sox as the manager? I don't know. And if we go through another year here in this 2025 with all the pieces that Breslow brought in, we mentioned Crochet, we mentioned Alex Bregman, all the pieces that they brought in to help this team get to where they need to be. And yet we still sit here with a 500 team with 40 games in, a lot of baseball to be played. But if we sit here at the end of the year, Clay, and we're in the studio at the end of September, and the Red Sox are 81-81 again, 2 games out of the wild card, division not to be in sight, the Yankees have the division again, what do we say? What do we say in a couple of months here in September? Just sit around and look, oh, well, what's next?
Well, I would say,
and until a significant upheaval is made, this Red Sox team, in my opinion, is not going to get to where they need to be.
I'll tell you what I will say. What's the guy Judge in New York? He's hitting 390, and he doesn't even have as many strikeouts as Dever on either story, because they both have 47. I'd say, even though we would like to think Cora could change it, I don't know. Is anybody going to come in and tell Devers what to do?
I can't tell you that.
Yeah, and there's where your problem is, because unless you got,
I think there are managers out there that would have a stronger.
Well, they need to find that guy.
Yeah.
Because until they get a guy in there who can tell these guys what to do, and that enough is enough, the ship is going to keep sinking.
And by the way, do I think Rafael Devers is going to play all 10 years here at the Red Sox? Absolutely not. We've seen this time and time again with some of these guys that have signed these mega deals, massive deals. Look at Giancarlo Stanton, perfect example down in Miami. I don't expect Rafael Devers to finish his career with the Boston Red Sox, and if this continues to go on, maybe even as early as this offseason, if the season goes really badly, I wouldn't be surprised if you start to hear the rumors of Rafael Devers requesting a trade. Now the question is, who do you trade him to, and what team would take him with that money? But
well, listen, that's a whole nother subject. We need to move on.
we do have a caller though on the line.
Okay.
Yeah, caller. Good morning. Your name and where you calling from?
Marlon from Atlanta.
Marlon from Atlanta.
Wow.
Marlon, baby.
Hey guys.
What you got, baby? What you got?
I know time is short, so I'm just gonna laugh at you guys. I'm listening, and I say, oh, these cranky Bostonian fans are just complaining about all this great excitement going on right now in the city, and these guys are still talking about a team that's got. It still has almost 80 games. How many games? Only 120 games ago, I think. Still, so
you're right.
I'm just laughing. I think you guys are right, though. I think there's definitely some chemistry issues going on with that team. I don't know how much I'll agree with Devers sounding like a crybaby, only because we really don't know what's going on in the background. But I'll digress.
Right.
But that's my take on the Red Sox. I think there's a lot of baseball to be played. They can't dump games or series that they should be winning because it all comes back to haunt them towards the end of the season. So, on the as far as the Celtics, I'm gonna jump on that really quickly.
Sure.
If Tatum can learn a little bit between the last game and this game, how to play a little bit more team ball and then play hero ball, or those fadeaway threes when you need a better shot. There's a lot.
You mean take the ball to the hoop?
Take the ball to the hoop. They got to go down low. They have to pound it down a little bit more just to. I mean, New York is a really good defensive team, and they have a great coach that does really in-game adjustments better than Missoula does. Missoula, I'm not knocking Missoula, but I just think that Tibbs is just a better seasoned coach. So he's got to. They have to do better. I think they'll be okay in Game 3, but if they don't, oh well. Let's talk about Devers again next week.
It's going to be a quick one. We will find out.
Well, we'll have nothing else to talk about if the Celtics get swept. It'll be a quick. Then we just have the Red Sox.
Then
no Bruins.
Then we could talk about them getting swept.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
Let's hope not.
So we'll just bite our fingernails at the end of the game, because even if they're up by 20 in Game 3, they'll still find a way to make it interesting.
Certainly true. Marlon, what do you like in Cleveland in the Indiana Pacers series?
I think I like Indiana. I think Cleveland has some. I think it's somewhat. I was talking to a good friend of ours, James. I thought that Boston being down 0-2 wasn't as bad as Cleveland being down 0-2.
Yeah.
I think Boston, if they can pull this one out tonight, I think they got a really good shot of pulling the series out. Cleveland, I like the way the Indiana's team is playing, and matchups are everything. So I think I think we're going to go to Indiana in that series.
Okay.
Well, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens as we make our way through the NBA players. Hey, Marlon, don't be a stranger. Call us anytime. Good to hear from you, man.
Marlon, you're the best.
Okay. You guys keep doing the good things there, and we'll talk soon.
Good man. Thanks, Marlon.
Okay.
Our old friend Marlon here on the show. Wow.
Yes.
Great surprises here this morning.
The sun is shining outside. I know it's shining. It was raining when we came in, but it's shining now.
Certainly true. So we're going to talk about the Celtics. I don't think we have much more to say on the Red Sox. They continue their series in Kansas City, Game 2 this evening down there. And, we'll see what happens in the ongoing Rafael Devers saga. And by the way, too, the Red Sox still have not found their permanent solution at first base. And the question is, will they? And, well,
I know I'm not playing first. Neither is Rafael.
Yeah, well, we'll see. We'll see. Anyway, let's say hello to our friends at Oyama Investments before we get to today. And we want to thank them for what they do. And if you're looking for a smart investment and you're place for your home, we want to welcome you into Oyama Investments, where your dreams do find a foundation. At Oyama Investments, well, they're more than just your real estate friend. They're your trusted partner in building a secure future. And whether you're investing in a property that will grow with you or purchasing your dream home, well, they make the process easy, transparent, and also rewarding. And Oyama Investments specializes in finding properties that align perfectly with your goals and imagine yourself owning a piece of the future, whether it be a luxury apartment, a commercial space, or a family home in the perfect neighborhood. And if you're new to the real estate investment market, well, don't worry, they're every step of the way, helping you make informed choices with confidence. Real estate prices rising. There's never been a better time to invest, and you're ready to see your dreams come to life. Visit www.oyamainvestments.com. Give them a call as well, 617-221-8881 today, where your vision becomes reality. That's the good friends at Oyama Investments. All right.
All right.
Great sponsors here on the show.
We love them.
Thank them for what they do.
I'm glad they love us.
We have another caller here. The calls are busy this morning.
They're coming in.
Caller, good morning. Where are you calling from here today?
Kelly from Lynn.
Oh, it's Kelly. There we go.
Oh, we haven't even got to LeBron. I was just about to say LeBron. Actually, I did say LeBron.
You mentioned
I
him.
mentioned him.
His
and all
ears
of a
must have been
sudden,
ringing.
There it goes.
Morning, Kelly.
Yeah.
Well, Kelly.
Ding, ding. Oh, how do I follow up that last caller? Ben, what a surprise.
Yeah,
Magic.
listen, we love it. We take it any
Magic
day.
from Atlanta.
Yep.
Hey, what's
Marlon
up,
from
Marlon?
Atlanta. We got fans in Atlanta, and we are fans of Atlanta too.
Yeah. Good call. Good call. Where do I begin? Good basketball, though. Good basketball. I'll dive right into those Celtics.
Let's hear it.
What are we watching here? What's going on?
Well, we're watching a train wreck almost begin to happen. It hasn't happened yet.
It's building up
I'm getting
speed.
Yeah.
I'm getting that same feel in Miami. I think the hole is getting too deep to climb out of it. They can climb out of it, but I don't know. I heard an interesting stat this week. I haven't looked into it, but Kevin, your point with the 3-pointers. I heard one of Larry Bird's MVP seasons. In that game, they attempted more 3-pointers than Larry Bird did that whole season.
Right.
That's terrible.
It's
That's
well,
true.
the stat that jumps out to me too, Kelly, is in the 2 games combined from beyond the 3, the Celtics have been shooting a combined 25 for 100 from
Wow.
long distance.
Yeah.
25
That's
for 100.
25%.
There's just been this 3-point infatuation for whatever reason, and it's just
That is
not
crazy.
working. It's not working.
That is crazy. And Missoula's going to defend it to the end, and he's not going to budge from it.
Wow.
You know.
Well,
Because
we're
you
going to
got
watch
that
this train
champion.
wreck. It's building up speed. It's building up.
But it's
Yeah.
I mean, the word I would use, Kelly, too, is just embarrassing. I mean, for the first 2 games, you have a lead of 20 in both of them, and then it's just you just fall apart. Your defense implodes. You continue to take shots that don't make sense.
Right. The first I can handle. I mean, I'd say New York's probably coming off hot, little Celtics a little cold. The first game, but when you lose the second game, it makes the first game look just as bad. It just doesn't go well together.
Guys, they don't want it. Face the facts. They
Yeah.
don't want it.
Well, I wouldn't go far to say that. I think the Celtics do want it, Clay.
Yeah.
Not if they keep clanging these threes.
Well, they believe that that's their MO,
Okay.
and that's
Yeah, I think they're gonna ride it out. And how's Porzingis though? I mean, what's the deal with him?
Yeah. Well, they're going to ride that one out too because Porzingis is not playing. He's still ill. He still has that illness. What I think is that they ought to prepare as if Porzingis is not going to be there. Just behave as if they did last year when they just went with Horford and Cornette. Just say, Porzingis is not going to be at the game. He's not going to play. That way, if he does show up and play, it's going to have the Willis Reed effect. How about that one?
Right. One other thing. Are we coming up on a year? How long have you guys been on a year?
Yeah, it's been a year. It was a year in March.
yes.
You know, remind me if we're in Kentucky Derby season.
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
Eddie Alcaro. How tall was Eddie Alcaro?
Was that the trivia question there?
Yeah, that was a trivia question. He's upon Whirlaway, won a Triple Crown, but he was also the jockey who was on Citation and won another Triple Crown with. But Eddie Alcaro, yes, great jockey. That's one of the questions. But just because we're talking about horse season, I brought that up.
I know they're not killing it on the vertical scale there.
No, he's not.
5'1"?
Huh?
5'1"?
You might want to add just one more inch to that one.
Oh, 5'2".
5'2". Yeah,
what was it? I know it was the other one. There's another trivia question. The nickname there?
The nickname. What's the nick? Right.
Joe Colburn.
Joe Colburn. What was his nickname?
Little Joe.
Nah, that wasn't Joe's. Was it?
Little Joe?
No, the nickname that I had for him was the Adopted Son of America.
Oh, I'm not sure.
Little Joe.
Yeah, no, he was
Oh,
the
yeah.
Adopted Son of America because Joe Coburn was originally from Ireland and came over here and started picking up the fight game, and there's another story. This guy was so bad. I mean, he kind of a tough guy, I believe a tough guy. So after he lost that fight with the other guy, that really wasn't a fight; it was a draw, whatever. He shot 2 police officers in a rage, and but he was not a good shot. He was a great boxer, but not a good shot. They both lived.
I guess next time I'll win that mug next time.
You win that mug next time.
So, Kelly, you think the Celtics win this afternoon at the Madison Square Garden, which is going to be a raucous crowd going into here, Game 3?
Oof. If there's any games they're going to win, I put my money on game 3, and then Game 4. I see New York retooling, and it's a good. I see them. I mean, it's just.
I mean, I don't see how they sweep with all this going. The momentum, I think, is just too much now.
We'll see.
Well, it's too bad because, I mean,
I was wrong.
If they win Game 3, I'm looking at a sweep, baby.
Yeah, at this point.
Yeah.
And the Celtics beat the Knicks 4 times during the regular season, and they swept the season series, and with an average victory of those 4 games, have an average of almost 16.5 points. And now just blowing 2 leads of 20 points and bad defense, bad offensive shots. Yeah. It's just like this team is almost unrecognizable.
Well,
to Marlon's point, the key players got to know how to close these games out.
You're going down to Madison Square Garden, right?
Don't put that cape on and that S on your chest.
I know, and that's what Tatum has been doing.
What S on this chest? He doesn't have an S on this chest. I mean, not the last 2 games.
Well, he wants. I think he wants it.
Well, he's not that type. Well, listen, they're going down to Madison Square Garden. You know what Madison Square Garden is known for? The WWE. And I predict the Knicks are going to lay the smackdown on the Celtics in New York, in Madison Square Garden today.
Well, let's hope not. Celtics here by 5.5, 3:30 this afternoon. We'll see.
Kelly, I got one more question I'm going to ask you. Kelly, how do you feel about that? LeBron said he sprained his MCL. He played the last 2 games with a sprained MCL, and that's the reason why they lost. In addition, that he knows that 2 plays do not win a game. It takes the whole team. So even though you have 2 top 10 players, that doesn't guarantee that you're going to win the game, or the series, which means to me, he's saying that his teammates suck.
Yeah.
I mean, you got beat by the Timberwolves in Rudy Gobert.
Yeah.
I mean, what's it? Yeah. Rudy Chamberlain, Gobert Chamberlain, Wilton Gobert, Akeem Gobert. I mean, are you kidding me?
Rudy Unseld.
I mean,
it goes on and on.
but they have a better team than you.
That's it.
Oh my gosh.
And Minnesota, playing and they weren't even playing that good ball. They weren't. They even against Golden State, they didn't look all that well. But that's typical LeBron, always making an excuse on the exit. Not when he got eliminated in the finals, I punched the wall after Game 1.
Yeah, played with a broken hand for the last 3 games.
And then now now I hear this injury that he's claiming doesn't even exist.
No, it doesn't. So, he went to a party that night. He went to a party that night. Was hanging out.
There's no such thing as an injury.
If James would call, if James was listening, and I tell him right now that LeBron is a fraud and always has been and always will be, and there's nothing he can do about it. He can defend him all he wants, but it's never going to change. But I'm not going to talk about LeBron anymore.
Yeah. On that happy note.
Yeah. We're gonna let it go.
Right quick, last word on the game. You got sick of Taylor Swift in the Kansas City games. Wait for the overdose of Spike Lee. The shots of Spike Lee.
Good luck.
So,
All right, Kelly. Thanks so much.
All right, I'll talk to you guys next week.
Thanks, Kelly.
Well, Jason Tatum coming out and saying that he takes full ownership of the way that he's played in the series and certainly can't sugarcoat anything, and says he needs to be better and he expects to be a lot better. Well, time will tell, and time will tell. We'll see today at 3:30 what happens. And he's right; he does need to be a lot better. They all need to be a lot better. It can't be the Jason Tatum show out there. Everybody's got to contribute, and that falls on the coach as well. And seems to be a theme that we're running with here today.
It's a theme you're running with. You are so tough on these coaches.
Well, as the saying goes, it's all about the coaching.
And Joe Mazzulla and who was the coach of the Bruins that you didn't have a kind word to say for?
I was
the guy that the current
the
coach.
interim coach.
Yes.
Oh, I never had anything wrong to
Yeah.
say about Joe Sacco. Joe Sacco was put in an impossible position.
But if you're here
to
next year,
succeed.
Joe, if you're here next year,
No.
Kevin's going to ride you like a horse.
No, I don't. I think it'll be a different coach, and I want to. Joe, I mean, he was put in a very difficult situation. The Bruins never should have fired Jim Montgomery, but anyway, that's a different story. And also in the NBA, of course, the Cavaliers getting back last night.
Yes.
They're down 2-1 in the series to Indiana. Indiana winning their first 2 games on the road. Big win last night for the Denver Nuggets. They lead that series 2-1 now, Clay.
Yeah.
Up against the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Jamal Murray. Well, we all really know that Jokic is the guy. He's the guy. He's the guy that makes everything happen. But Jamal Murray is back, ladies and gentlemen. He's back to the Jamal Murray before the injury. And so OKC is in big with a capital B trouble.
That remains to be seen. And then in Game 3, of course, we've got the Timberwolves and the Golden State Warriors. The series shifts back to the Bay tonight at 8:30, tied up 1-1, and no Steph Curry. And no target date to return either. So it looks like the Warriors could be out without Steph Curry for a while. And time for good old Jimmy Butler to step up and see what he has to do. And I think I give the Timberwolves the edge in that series. That's going to be a good series, though, and it has been the first 2 games.
And why is Draymond Green still in the league? Why are we watching this buffoonery, this craziness, this unbridled just idiocy play itself out on the court where he's just taunting fans?
Unbridled idiocy.
Unbridled.
That's great.
You just can't hold it in. He just and the NBA allows it. One last thing. I know we're running short.
I got time for 3 minutes there.
You got 3 minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, as I was looking through the NBA and NHL schedules, I came across this. And I did a show earlier this year, might have been even last year, where I said the NHL can take the NBA's position as the second, is it the second or the third best, third most watched sport in America, because there's more interest in NHL. And with things like Draymond Green happening out there, okay, they completely turned the fans off. With a little bit of marketing, the NHL could definitely take that spot, because as I look at it now, today, Boston plays New York, and you can get a ticket there. Well, they're playing at New York for $621, but just throw that out the window, okay? Because after that, everything else is lowball. Minnesota, Golden State, that's San Francisco area, $111. Tickets was $111. Oklahoma City and Denver, $81. Cleveland at Indiana, $90. Indiana at Cleveland, $57. But take a look at this. When we talk about the NHL, Washington at Carolina, $175. It's all $150. You might have one that's like $99, but none of it's like $54 or $67 like you have with Cleveland and Indiana. In other words, there's more interest as far as the fans go. They will pay to see these games. $150, $190, $149, straight across the board. They would pay to see the NHL more than they would pay to see the NBA. NBA has a big problem, and the NHL should take advantage of it right now, because with Draymond Green out there still behaving the way he does, I don't see a good reason why anyone should want to watch the performances like that.
Well, I think the NHL is doing that, and I think a perfect example of that was the Four Nations tournament we saw a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
And the NHL, I think, is doing their part in marketing better, and I think it's working. So, and mentioning in those series as well, big win last night for the Florida Panthers in Game 3 of that series.
Yes.
Coming back, and well, who scored the overtime goal? Well, none other than our old friend Brad Marchand.
Marchie.
Maple Leafs up 2-1 in that series. Also last night, the Winnipeg Jets with a big win coming back. Series now tied against the Dallas Stars. A 4-0 win there. That's going to be a great series. Dallas obviously coming. Both teams coming off a Game 7 wins in those wins against the Avalanche and the St. Louis Blues.
I think I did predict
respectively.
The Dallas Stars, and you picked the Avalanche.
I think that's the actually opposite way around. I believe you picked Colorado, I picked Dallas. We'll go back and roll the tape. And then the other series, of course, Washington and Carolina tied 1-1. That goes back to Raleigh this evening at 6 o'clock. And the Edmonton Oilers up 2-0 against the Vegas Golden Knights and our old friend Bruce Cassidy. The Oilers, of course, the defending Western Conference champions. So a lot of hockey to be played, a lot of basketball to be played, and, well,
Bruce,
a lot of controversy.
We miss you around here, Bruce.
As well. In the final, 20 seconds here of the show, want to wish everybody out there, particularly our mothers, grandmothers, and aunts, and everybody, a happy Mother's Day tomorrow. and enjoy the day.
Enjoy the day, everybody. Enjoy Happy Mother's Day to mothers that are out there. Cherish your mother. Cherish your mother.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great weekend.
It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is.
Everybody get exposed.
Building health